An arrogant alien council mocks humanity's place in the galaxy, blind to the silent power gathering beneath Earth's surface. The story opens with sharp tension as humanity's hidden strength begins to reveal itself, shattering the illusion of alien superiority. A quiet but deadly calm hints at an unstoppable force ready to reclaim respect. Earth was never invited to the council. The words cut through the darkened chamber like a serrated blade, spoken by Zelthar, a shimmering figure whose many eyes glittered with contempt. The great hall of the celestial conclave shimmered with incomprehensible alien grandeur. The floor was a mosaic of stars, planets, and dead civilizations, each piece a testament to power. Yet all eyes turned with thinly veiled amusement toward a flickering holoscreen showing Earth, a blue and green gem orbiting a modest yellow star. "Look at them," sneered Vrax, his voice cold and sharp as icicles. "A world still fighting over rocks and bones while we plot the galaxy's future. They're savages. They should be glad we even acknowledge their existence." Watching from a shadowed gallery above, human Ambassador General Kira Malik's face was unreadable. Around her, elite members of Earth's hidden defense council, the Titans, stood silent. They bore no weapons openly, but their presence radiated a contained storm, a storm that had brewed in silence for decades. Zelthar's multiple mandibles clicked in laughter. "They think their puny fleet can challenge the Conclave's might. Pathetic." Malik's gaze never wavered from the alien assembly below. Inside her, a calculated cold fire burned. Humanity had been the galaxy's laughingstock for centuries, excluded from alliances, dismissed as primitive, enslaved in countless whispered treaties. But beneath that veneer of peaceful simplicity, humanity had cultivated something the galaxy refused to see: power. A power born of desperation, hidden technology, and a resolve forged by the raw brutality of Earth's death-world conditions. A low hum filled the chamber. It was faint, almost imperceptible, but to those who knew, it was the warning of Titan-class, vessels awakening in the orbit above Earth, ships far beyond anything the Conclave had ever encountered. Malik spoke quietly into her comlink, voice calm but edged with steel. "You're not ready for what we buried." A shudder ran through the Conclave's assembly, a ripple of unease beneath the surface. The laughing ceased, replaced by a tense silence. Outside the hall's vast windows, the stars themselves seemed to hold their breath. "They thought we were alone," Malik whispered. "They never looked underground." Below the surface, in hidden shipyards carved into the bedrock beneath Earth's most secure bases, the massive hulls of the Titan-class fleet stirred to life, their systems awakening with a deep, ominous pulse. Human engineers, soldiers, and scientists worked in synchronized precision, the culmination of humanity's most secret program. As Earth's great cities glittered under a fragile peace, the stage was set. The galaxy's arrogance had sealed its fate. The Titans were coming. The celestial conclave reels from an unexpected warning as Earth's silent strength begins to unnerve even its most arrogant members. Inside Earth's covert command centers, humanity's elite strategize, while the galaxy's political web unravels. Secrets and threats collide, setting the stage for a reckoning that will shake the stars. The vaulted chamber of the celestial conclave had never been so still. Zelthar's many eyes darted nervously as the whispered transmission from Earth's ambassador crackled through the ancient comm system. "You're not ready for what we buried." The message was brief, but it shattered centuries of complacency. The weight of those words pressed down like a graviton storm, warping the arrogance that had once filled the great hall. Around the oval dais, representatives of dozens of star-spanning civilizations exchanged tense glances. Vrax's lips thinned. The first sign of uncertainty to mar his usually imperious demeanor. "Ambassador Malik is bluffing," he growled low, though his voice betrayed the ripple of fear. Humans are backward. They may have developed primitive weaponry, but a Titan-class fleet, preposterous. From a side alcove, a slender figure stepped forward. Nkora, the Conclave's chief intelligence officer. Her translucent skin shimmered faintly, revealing complex neural patterns beneath. The data we intercepted confirms unusual energy signatures orbiting Earth's upper atmosphere. These are not typical human spacecraft. She paused, her gaze sweeping the assembly. Preliminary scans indicate ship classes far exceeding any we have catalogued from human technologies. This warrants caution. Murmurs spread through the chamber, a ripple of panic that even the most diplomatic voices couldn't contain. Vrax slammed a fist onto the crystalline table. We will not be intimidated by a species who once barely mastered spaceflight. Recall their wars among themselves, their history of self-destruction. Yet even as he spoke, his gaze flickered to the dark expanse beyond the hall's grand windows, the same stars that watched Earth, waiting, thousands of kilometers beneath Earth's surface, inside the labyrinthine corridors of Titan Command. General Kira Malik stood before a massive holographic projection. The glowing image showed the full scale of the Titan-class fleet, colossal ships shaped like ancient beasts, their hulls a combination of alien alloys and salvaged human technology. Each ship bristled with weapon systems designed not for diplomacy, but for annihilation. Around her, the Council of Earth's finest strategists and scientists worked in hushed urgency. We have been patient for too long, Malik said, voice resonant with a quiet fury. The galaxy's mockery ends now. A soft beep drew her attention to a communications terminal. The latest scan from the orbital arrays had just arrived. The data revealed the Conclave's fleet movements, a coalition of alien vessels converging on Earth's system, believing humanity weak and disorganized. By the time they realize the scale of our response, it will be too late, Malik murmured, the steel in her eyes igniting the room. Back in the Conclave, the mood darkened as intelligence reports poured in. Hidden networks revealed the tangled web of human espionage that had remained unseen for decades. We underestimated their capacity for secrecy, Nkora admitted reluctantly. Their infiltration across the Conclave's communications and surveillance is unprecedented. A younger representative from the Nebulon cluster whispered, "What are we truly facing? A united humanity? An ancient war machine awakened?" Vrax turned sharply. Humanity is a parasite, primitive and chaotic. They have no honor, no alliances. We will crush their rebellion before it grows. But even he knew the truth. The Titans were not just ships. They were a statement, a message carved into steel and fire. On Earth's surface, cities shimmered under the waning light of a setting sun. Life carried on, ignorant of the colossal storm brewing just beyond the atmosphere. In a quiet laboratory deep within the Arctic Circle, Dr. Elena Ross carefully monitored quantum communication channels. Her fingers danced over controls that synchronized. The fleet's systems. They think they can laugh at us, she whispered to herself, but this silence, it's our greatest weapon. Behind her, a wall of data streamed with encrypted coordinates and tactical plans. Years of sacrifice and broken promises had led to this moment. Meanwhile, in a remote sector far from Earth, an alien warship patrolled the fringes of known space. Captain Tharuk of the Valor Dominion stared into the abyss. "Do you sense it?" "Zelthar?" he asked through the comlink. The calm before the storm? Zelthar's voice buzzed with unease. The human silence is unnatural. They prepare, but for what? The reckoning is near. The captain clenched his gauntleted fist. Then let us be ready. The Titans will either be our doom or our salvation. As night fell across Earth, the stars blinked cold witness. In underground, bunkers, hundreds of Titan-class ships hummed with latent energy, their crews standing ready. The silent power humanity had buried was awakening, a force born from desperation, innovation, and unyielding resolve. The galaxy had laughed. Now it would learn. Beneath the calm surface of interstellar politics, Earth's hidden fleet prepares to emerge, while whispers of humanity's latent strength ripple through alien networks. A secretive pact among human factions reveals deep scars and unbreakable resolve as the first signs of the coming storm ripple across the galaxy. The fragile peace shatters and fear begins to replace arrogance. The sprawling underground complex of Titan Command thrummed with a living pulse, a heartbeat forged in steel and silicon. Its vast corridors were lined with gleaming consoles and towering cryo-chambers, the hum of artificial life filling the spaces between whispered conversations and measured footsteps. Deep beneath the Earth's battered crust, humanity's greatest secret was no longer a rumor or a ghost story whispered in darkened rooms. It was a waking titan, an unstoppable force poised to rend the stars. General Kira Malik stood at the center of the command deck, eyes scanning the holographic projection that hovered above her palms. The image showed Earth's solar system, punctuated by the gleaming silhouettes of the Titan-class vessels, fortresses the size of small moons, bristling with weaponry, crafted in workshops spanning the globe. Each ship was a monument to humanity's defiance, an ironclad answer to the galaxy's scorn. Commander Ree, status on the fusion cores? Malik's voice was calm but steeled with urgency. Cores stable and ramping to full capacity. Shields have passed preliminary stress tests, Ree replied crisply, his gaze fixed on a separate readout. We'll be battle-ready within hours, Malik nodded. Good. Prepare the fleet for silent deployment. We move under the radar until the Conclave makes its first move. The room was silent save for the soft clicks of control surfaces and the occasional murmur from the support staff, yet beneath that quiet hum was an electric tension. The coming days would decide more than just Earth's fate. They would shake the very foundations of galactic power. Thousands of light-years away, the celestial conclave was fracturing. In a secluded chamber that once buzzed with diplomatic hubris, the alien council debated the implications of humanity's hidden power. The arrogant laughter that once filled the hall had been replaced by a nervous undercurrent. Even the proudest species felt the chill of uncertainty, and Cora's iridescent fingers danced across a crystalline interface. The humans' fleet is unlike anything in our archives. Their technology blends organic and synthetic elements in ways we cannot easily reverse engineer. Then we should strike before they complete their full deployment, Vrax said, grimly. Delay would mean doom. A chorus of agreement rippled through the chamber, but Zelthar held up a multi-limbed hand. We have underestimated them for too long. We know little of their true capabilities. There are rumors, whispers of weapons designed to manipulate space-time itself. Vrax's eyes narrowed. Rumors or not, we cannot risk an all-out war. The Conclave thrives on order. But what if this is chaos incarnate? Nkora countered, softly. What if humanity's defiance is the beginning of our unraveling? The hall fell silent once more as an encrypted transmission burst through the network. Earth's Titan fleet, repositioning without detection. Back on Earth, deep within a bunker carved from ancient bedrock, a clandestine meeting unfolded. A circle of leaders gathered under the low hum of emergency lights, their faces marked by decades of struggle and sacrifice. They were the architects of humanity's rebirth, the masterminds behind the Titan fleet's creation, each bearing scars of betrayal and loss. Dr. Elena Ross, the quantum communication specialist, stepped forward, her expression grave yet resolute. The galaxy has boxed us in for centuries, exploiting our resources, dismissing our worth. We have built these titans not just to survive, but to claim our rightful place. A murmur of assent spread through the group. Among them was Marcus, a war-hardened veteran whose eyes betrayed the weight of countless battles. They think we're savages, that our history of self-destruction means weakness. They don't see the fire beneath our scars. We must unify all human factions, Kira's voice cut through the room. Only together can we weather the storm ahead. Outside, the night sky was a tapestry of stars, but for the first time in generations, the constellations seemed to flicker with foreboding. In orbit, the Titan-class fleet moved silently through the darkness, each ship cloaked in layers of advanced stealth technology that rendered them nearly invisible even to the most sophisticated. Alien sensors. Inside, thousands of crew members prepared for the inevitable, minds sharpened, bodies honed, hearts steeled for battle. Captain Elias Grant, commander of the flagship Aegis, stood on the bridge, staring into the abyss beyond the viewport. His jaw was set, eyes sharp with determination. "Commander Liao," he said, voice low and commanding. "Status report. Shields at 95%, weapon systems calibrated and ready, communication arrays optimized for both offensive and defensive." "Protocols," Liao answered. Grant nodded, his thoughts flickering to Earth's past, the wars, the betrayals, the endless cycles of fear and hope. "We're not just fighting for survival, we're fighting for respect, for a place at the table of the stars." Far from the front lines, in the shadowy corners of the galaxy, a network of spies and informants whispered rumors of humanity's awakening. "Have you heard?" hissed one informant to another in the dim light of a dingy station. "The Earthlings have Titans now, massive warships the size of planets." "Impossible," scoffed a mercenary, fingers tightening on a blaster. "That's just propaganda to scare the weak." But the seed of doubt had been planted. As dawn broke over Earth, the ancient planet seemed calm, but the ground beneath trembled faintly, an echo of the immense power stirring within. In an isolated research facility, Dr. Ross activated a sequence of encrypted transmissions, sending waves of coded signals across human networks and into the void. The message was simple: the Titans awaken. Back in the Conclave's chambers, desperation seeped into every corner. Zelthar's voice trembled with barely concealed fear as the holodisplay revealed the Titan fleet's slow but deliberate approach toward the outermost borders of Earth's solar system. "They laughed at us," he murmured. "They mocked our alliances, our civilizations. Now, we face a force forged in shadows and silence." Vrax's glare softened for a moment, his usual arrogance replaced by a grudging respect. Perhaps the galaxy's greatest mistake was to dismiss humanity as weak. A dark silence settled over the chamber as the first ripples of war spread through the stars. Beneath the silent surface of Earth, the Titans hummed louder, their engines pulsing with the promise of reckoning. Humanity was no longer the galaxy's joke. They were the storm waiting to break. As humanity's Titan fleet covertly maneuvers into position, the celestial conclave scrambles to mount a preemptive strike. Earth's leaders wrestle with internal fractures and betrayals that threaten to unravel their plan. The first shots of a cosmic conflict ignite in the void, setting in motion a brutal clash where ancient pride collides with humanity's relentless will to survive and dominate. The void around Earth's orbit shimmered with deceptive tranquility, a vast, cold expanse that concealed the brewing storm. The Titan-class fleet, colossal and imposing, drifted silently beneath the veil of experimental stealth fields. Technologies so advanced that even the most sophisticated sensors of the celestial conclave struggled to pierce the shadows. Inside the flagship Aegis, Captain Elias Grant stood before a panoramic viewport that framed the small blue planet hanging below, a world so familiar, yet on the cusp of transformation. "Status report," Grant demanded, voice steady but laced with steel. Commander Liao's fingers danced across a console, eyes sharp and alert. Our stealth signature remains undetectable. All vessels are maintaining formation. The fleet is ready for deployment on your order." Grant's gaze lingered on Earth's spinning continents, the fragile peace before chaos. This is more than a battle. It's the dawn of humanity's ascension. Thousands of kilometers below, in the subterranean nerve center known as Titan, Command General Kira Malik paced before a sprawling tactical map. She was surrounded by the Council of Earth's most brilliant strategists and hardened veterans, the architects of humanity's defiant gambit. Malik's voice was firm. "The Conclave's response is accelerating. Their fleet movements indicate they intend to strike preemptively before we can fully consolidate." Dr. Elena Ross, her fingers stained with the glow of quantum readouts, interjected, "We face a multi-pronged threat. Vrax's faction seeks to crush us outright, but others advocate for a containment strategy, a slow siege meant to starve Earth into submission." Marcus Havel, his scarred visage carved from years of conflict, slammed a fist on the table. "We cannot cower behind subterranean walls. Our Titans were built to take the fight to the stars, not hide beneath them." Malik's eyes bore into the war veteran. "Agreed, but every move must be calculated. One misstep and centuries of preparation unravel." The room's tension was palpable. Old wounds flared alongside burning determination. Meanwhile, in the heart of the Celestial Conclave's capital, the fractured council convened in emergency session. Vrax paced before a towering display, his voice booming. "We cannot allow these Earthlings to dictate terms. Their Titans are weapons forged in desperation and secrecy." Nkora's luminescent eyes gleamed. They wield power born of a Deathworld's brutality. Their past is stained with conflict, but their present is a symphony of precision and innovation. Zelthar's voice was a whisper, yet it resonated across the chamber. "We stand at the precipice. Their arrival has shattered our illusions of control." The chamber was alive with heated debate, the fragile alliances fraying under the weight of fear and pride. Far above the planet's swirling clouds, the Titan fleet shifted into position. Captain Grant's voice crackled through the fleet's comm array. "All vessels, prepare for coordinated strike maneuvers. Sensors detect Conclave skirmishers closing fast." From the shadowed bridges of the smaller Titan-class destroyers to the massive gunships bristling with plasma cannons and quantum torpedoes, human crews sprang into action. Lieutenant Arya Chen's voice was calm, yet resolute, as she coordinated fighter squadrons. "Evasive maneuvers ready. Engage enemy probes on my mark." As the first flickers of Conclave ships emerged from the void, a fierce ballet of light and shadow began. Pulses of energy flared, war cries echoed through comms, and the cold calculus of war unfolded in real time. Back on Earth, beneath the protective layers of crust and steel, a hidden betrayal festered. An informant, codenamed Spectre, slipped through the labyrinthine passages of Titan Command, relaying fragments of strategy and fleet movements to unknown contacts beyond the solar system. Each secret pass chipped away at humanity's edge. In a dimly lit chamber, Malik confronted her trusted aide, Captain Jonas Creel. "Have you lost faith, Jonas?" she demanded, eyes blazing. Creel's expression was tight, conflicted. "This war could doom us all if we rush. Perhaps the Conclave's patience can be our ally." Malik's voice dropped to a cold whisper. "Or their patience is the blade that will sever our throats." The battle in orbit raged with brutal intensity. Titan-class warships unleashed volleys of quantum disruptors, tearing through Conclave shields with devastating precision. Swarms of sleek human fighters darted through the chaos, their plasma beams cutting swathes of destruction amid enemy ranks. The Conclave retaliated with overwhelming numbers, but the humans' adaptability and unity were unmatched. Captain Grant's voice was steady, despite the chaos. "Keep the pressure. Target their command vessels. Disrupt their coordination." A sudden explosion rocked the Aegis, shuddering the bridge as alarms blared. Damage report, Grant barked. Lieutenant Chen's voice cut through the din. Minor. Hull breaches in Sector 4. Shields holding. Enemy frigate destroyed. Grant's jaw tightened. Good. We can't afford complacency. Amid the cacophony of war, a chilling transmission echoed across the battlefield. From the dark void, a voice spoke, cold, ancient, dripping with menace. You dare challenge the Conclave's will? You, who crawl from a broken world, shall be crushed beneath the weight of cosmic order. The voice belonged to the Conclave's supreme warlord, Zarthun, a being cloaked in shadows and legend. His ship, the Eclipse, a gargantuan dreadnought, emerged from the darkness like a phantom herald of doom. On board the Aegis, Captain Grant met the challenge with unyielding resolve. Prepare countermeasures. Focus all firepower on the Eclipse. We will show them the strength forged in Earth's crucible. The first salvo of concentrated plasma beams streaked toward Zarthun's vessel, illuminating the void with brilliant flares. The battle had become a clash, not just of ships, but of ideologies, the savage will of humanity against the ancient pride of the Conclave. Back on Earth, the betrayal deepened. Captain Creel met secretly with shadowy emissaries, trading information for promises of power and survival. But in the depths of his heart, doubt gnawed relentlessly. Malik's words haunted him. Their patience is the blade that will sever our throats. In a galaxy ruled by arrogance and fear, trust was the rarest commodity. As the battle above escalated, a ripple passed through Earth's subterranean command. The Titan fleet systems pulsed in unison, a silent symphony of awakening might. General Malik's voice resonated through the comms, a beacon of defiance. Today, humanity stands not as prey but as hunters. The Titans have awakened. The stars bore witness to the storm unleashed, a reckoning born from centuries of scorn, sacrifice, and unbreakable will. The first full-scale confrontation between Earth's Titans and the Celestial Conclave erupts in a breathtaking clash of fire and steel. On board the massive warships and amidst the sprawling war zones of orbit, human ingenuity and indomitable spirit collide with centuries of alien dominance. Meanwhile, betrayals and sacrifices on both sides reshape the battlefield, setting humanity on a path to legendary vengeance. The vacuum of space was set ablaze. Torrents of plasma and cascades of quantum torpedoes tore through the darkness, transforming the void into a deadly dance of light and destruction. The Titan's thunderous weapons roared with the fury of 1,000 storms, shaking the silent cosmos and sending ripples through the surrounding star systems. Captain Elias Grant stood rigid, on the bridge of the Aegis, the flagship of the Titan fleet. His eyes, cold and unyielding, scanned the volatile holographic battlefield projecting before him. Fleets of enemy vessels, their sleek shapes darting and weaving in frantic attempts to hold the line. Focus all fire on the Eclipse, Grant commanded, voice cutting through the clamor of alarms and frantic activity. We take their command ship, and we fracture their entire fleet. Lieutenant Arya Chen's voice came steady through the comms. Fighter squadrons engaging now, sir. Enemy interceptors are aggressive but disorganized. Our formation holds. The Aegis shuddered as a nearby explosion rocked the hull, a near miss from a devastating conclave plasma blast. The ship's armor glowed red-hot in places, a testament to the ferocity of the assault. Damage report, Grant barked. Minor hull breaches on decks 5 and 6. Shields at 80% and holding, reported Chief Engineer Malik. The ship's namesake was no coincidence. Her calm steadied the crew's nerves. The battlefield was a maelstrom of calculated chaos. Titan-class warships, designed to be both fortresses and speed demons, weaved through asteroid fields and debris clouds, using every advantage to outmaneuver the numerically superior Conclave forces. Human fighters, sleek and nimble, darted between enemy lines, their plasma cannons spitting death. Their pilots, young, hardened and relentless, knew they fought not just for survival, but for humanity's place in the galaxy. "Evasive maneuvers," yelled Lieutenant Chen. "Incoming missile salvo!" Missiles streaked across space, deadly and precise, but the Titan's automated defense grids fired back in blazing torrents, intercepting most of the threat. Despite the overwhelming odds, humanity's fleet held its ground, each engagement a brutal testament to years of preparation and sacrifice. On board the Eclipse, Zarthun's colossal form loomed over a command deck shrouded in dark, pulsing shadows. His many eyes glowed with fury and disdain as he surveyed the unfolding battle. "Crush them," he commanded with cold finality. "They dare challenge the Conclave's eternal reign. Let their arrogance be their undoing." Massive energy beams discharged from the Eclipse, tearing through space and obliterating the nearest Titan destroyers in searing bursts. "Captain," one officer shouted, "enemy flagship taking heavy fire, shields dropping." Zarthun's voice cut through the din, icy and unrelenting. "Hold the line, do not falter. The humans may possess fire, but we wield the storm." Meanwhile, in Titan Command's subterranean bastion on Earth, General Kira Malik received live telemetry from the fleet. Her eyes were sharp, unwavering. Around her, the Council watched in tense silence as holographic projections revealed the ebb and flow of battle. "This is the moment we've trained for," Malik said quietly. "Our resolve will shape history." Dr. Eleanor Ross approached, fingers flicking across a control panel. "Our quantum disruption emitters are holding, but the Conclave's countermeasures are adapting faster than predicted," Ross warned. "We need to recalibrate or risk losing." "Critical systems," Marcus Havel grunted. "Then we recalibrate on the fly. The galaxy didn't wait for us to be ready, and neither will we." Malik's lips pressed into a hard line. "Prepare contingency plans. If the fleet falters, we must hold Earth itself." Above, the Aegis and Eclipse exchanged devastating blows. Bright pulses of energy collided mid-space in shockwaves that rippled through the fleet. Space debris and wreckage drifted like ghostly reminders of the price of war. Captain Grant's voice was resolute. "Helm, lock onto the Eclipse's primary reactors. Charge quantum torpedoes." The ship's crew moved in perfect synchrony, a dance honed by years of discipline and desperation. Suddenly, the Eclipse unleashed a massive gravitational wave, an ancient weapon designed to rip ships apart by distorting space-time. The Aegis groaned under the assault as shields flickered dangerously. "Brace for impact," Grant shouted. The gravity well battered the fleet, throwing ships off course and tearing into their hulls. Fighter squadrons scrambled to regain formation, some lost in the chaotic currents. Lieutenant Chen's voice was tense. "We've lost 3 fighters, trying to regroup." "Status on Aegis?" Grant demanded. "Shields down to 40%, sir. Hull integrity stable, but we won't withstand another wave like that." Grant's jaw clenched. "Fire quantum torpedoes. We end this." The massive warheads surged forth, streaking toward the Eclipse in brilliant arcs of light. On the bridge of the Eclipse, Zarthun's eyes narrowed as the torpedoes approached. "Divert all power to forward shields," he ordered. "Prepare countermeasures." The torpedoes struck in a cataclysmic explosion, shaking the dreadnought to its core. Alarms blared as systems failed and sparks flew. Zarthun snarled, his voice reverberating with rage. "This is not over." Back on Earth, the betrayal deepened. Captain Jonas Creel, conflicted and desperate, debated his loyalty in the shadowed corridors of Titan Command. A clandestine message pinged on his encrypted comm. It was from Spectre, a shadowy figure whose identity was whispered but never confirmed. "Everything is unraveling," the message read. "We have one chance to control the outcome. Meet me in Sector 7. Creel's hands trembled as he pocketed the device. He knew what this meant. The battle in orbit raged through the hours like a violent storm. Titan-class vessels bore the scars of relentless combat. Explosions blossomed in the darkness as ships were shattered or disabled. Yet for every Titan lost, two more human fighters surged forward, unyielding, fearless. On the bridge of the Aegis, Captain Grant stared at the glowing tactical map. "We push forward, target their supply lines, break their hold." Lieutenant Chen's voice was unwavering. "Enemy fleet is faltering, sir. We can win this." Grant allowed himself a brief nod, but victory came at a price. A massive explosion rocked the fleet as the Aegis took a direct hit from a hidden plasma cannon. The bridge shook violently. Crew members were thrown off balance. "Damage report," Grant yelled. "Life support failing in sectors 3 and 7. Hull breach imminent." Grant gritted his teeth. "We hold for Earth." In the aftermath of the blast, the Aegis staggered, but did not fall. Its crew rallied, patching damage and restoring shields under fire. The battle had become a crucible where heroes were forged and legends born. As the war raged in space, on Earth's surface, millions looked up at the stars, unaware that their fate was being decided. In the void, the first thunder of the Titan's arrival had shaken the galaxy. The laughter was over. Now came the fury. The devastating battle leaves scars, both physical and psychological. Amid the ruins of orbiting war, deep betrayals come to light within humanity's own ranks, threatening to unravel their fragile unity. As enemy forces regroup and retaliate, Earth's leaders face impossible choices: sacrifice one part of humanity to save the whole, or risk extinction. Meanwhile, the celestial conclave's darkest secrets emerge, revealing ancient grudges intertwined with the fate of the Titans. The aftershock of war hung heavy in the vacuum of space, a ghostly silence that seemed to mock the violence just endured. Orbiting Earth, the remnants of the Titan fleet drifted among shattered hulks and drifting wreckage, a graveyard of fire and metal. The once majestic formation was now fragmented, damaged vessels limping on failing engines, their crews tending to wounds visible and invisible. Captain Elias Grant stood on the battered bridge of the Aegis, the flagship scarred but unbowed. His gaze was distant, haunted by the cost of victory. The glow of star systems beyond was muted by the holographic map pulsing with red markers. Losses, broken formations, critical damage. "Report," Grant demanded, voice gravelly yet steady. "Lieutenant." Arya Chen stepped forward, her face etched with exhaustion but fierce resolve. "We lost 20% of our fleet in the last engagement. Several ships are in critical condition. The Eclipse is retreating, but not defeated." Grant's jaw tightened. "They'll regroup. We must prepare for their counterattack." Far below the surface, in Titan command, General Kira Malik stood before her war council, tension coiling in the air like a tightening noose. "We survived the first strike," Malik said quietly, her voice a lighthouse in the storm, "but the fight is far from over." Marcus Havel, still scarred and weary from years of combat, leaned forward, eyes sharp despite the fatigue. "Our strength is tested, but so is our unity. I've heard troubling rumors, discontent among our ranks. The betrayal in our midst threatens to unravel everything." Malik's gaze flickered to the entrance as Captain Jonas Creel entered, face pale, steps uncertain. "Creel," Malik said with thinly veiled suspicion. "You've been absent during critical moments. Explain." Creel swallowed hard. I've been dealing with threats inside our own walls." A heavy silence settled before he continued. "There are factions working against us, leaking intelligence to the Conclave, sabotaging efforts." The room tensed, breaths held tight. Meanwhile, in a secret chamber hidden beneath the Conclave's capital, the warlord Zarthun convened with the highest-ranking strategists of the alien coalition. "The humans are fractured," Zarthun hissed, his shadowed form writhing with barely contained rage. "Their infighting will be their undoing." Nkora, the iridescent intelligence chief, nodded solemnly. But their technology and spirit cannot be underestimated. They possess ancient knowledge, powers we barely comprehend. A murmur passed through the chamber. Legends speak of the Titans as more than ships, Zathun continued, artifacts forged in a lost era, intertwined with cosmic forces. Then we must sever their roots, Nkora said softly. Strike at Earth itself. Zathun's eyes gleamed like dying stars. Prepare the fleets. We will crush the heart of humanity. Back on Earth, Captain Kryl wrestled with his conscience and the shadowy figures pulling strings behind the scenes. In the dim light of a hidden room, he met Spectre, a figure whose face was cloaked in darkness. "We have one chance," Spectre whispered, a secret that could tip the scales. Kryl's heart pounded. If this betrayal is exposed, it could destroy everything. Spectre smiled, a grim, knowing smile. Sometimes destruction is the path to rebirth. As Earth's leaders battled internal chaos, the Conclave's fleets regrouped for a devastating counter-offensive. In orbit, the human survivors scrambled to repair, to rebuild their shattered lines. Engineers worked feverishly to patch hull breaches, recalibrate systems, and restore dwindling power. Captain Grant paced the Aegis bridge, fingers clenched. "We cannot hold out forever. We need allies, somewhere in this vast, fractured galaxy." Lieutenant Chen nodded. "Our communications are open, but heavily monitored. Any plea for help risks exposure." Suddenly, a coded transmission blinked onto the main console, a message from deep space. "Unknown origin," Chen reported. "Encrypted, but urgent." Grant's eyes narrowed as he decrypted the message. "To humanity the galaxy watches. The time for isolation ends. Seek the forgotten. Unite or perish." Deep in the outer rim, a mysterious faction known as the Forgotten stirred. Once part of the Conclave's grand design, they had been exiled for embracing forbidden knowledge and ancient technologies. Their leader, the enigmatic Silara, studied the transmission with interest. "Humanity calls," she murmured. "Perhaps the time has come to reshape the stars." Meanwhile, the betrayal within Earth's ranks came to a shocking head. Captain Kryl, torn between loyalty and fear, uncovered a web of conspiracies linking high-ranking officials with alien sympathizers. General Malik confronted Kryl in a private chamber. "Trust is the foundation of everything we've built," she said, eyes piercing. "Betrayal will be our downfall." Kryl's voice cracked. "I want to believe in us, but the enemy is not only out there, it's here, inside." Malik's hand tightened into a fist. "Then we root them out or we all fall." As the political intrigue thickened, the battle above Earth escalated once more. The Conclave's new assault fleet blazed into the solar system, a ruthless armada seeking to crush the remnants of humanity's defiance. Titan-class warships scrambled to form defensive perimeters, plasma bolts and torpedoes lighting up the black expanse. Lieutenant Chen commanded fighter squadrons with precision. "Flank left. Disrupt their formation." The fighters danced through volleys of energy, striking at supply ships and command vessels. Amidst the chaos, the Aegis received a direct hit, a massive explosion, sending shockwaves through the ship. In the command deck, Captain Grant struggled to maintain control. "Damage report," he barked. "Severe breaches on multiple decks. Life support compromised in engineering." Grant's jaw clenched as alarms blared. "Seal off affected sectors. Divert all. Power to critical systems. We're not going down today." In the heart of the battle, a new weapon was unveiled. From Earth's secret arsenals emerged the Eidolon, a prototype Titan unlike any other. Cloaked in adaptive stealth and armed with experimental quantum weapons, it slipped through enemy lines like a phantom. Captain Layla Sato piloted the Eidolon with unerring precision, targeting command vessels and disrupting enemy formations. Her voice was calm, yet resolute. "This ends now. For Earth." As the Eidolon tore through the conclave's armada, the tide of battle shifted, but victory remained elusive. The conclave retaliated with ruthless tactics, deploying ancient weapons that bent reality and shredded matter. The battlefield twisted in surreal violence, ships distorted, space-time rippling as if reality itself was a fragile thread. On Earth, General Malik watched the unfolding events with grim determination. "The galaxy has shown us no mercy," she said to her council. "Neither will we show mercy to those who would see us erased." Her eyes scanned the faces around her. Warriors, scientists, leaders, each bearing the weight of humanity's survival. "We fight not just for today, but for every tomorrow yet to come." In the shadows of the conclave, ancient grudges surfaced. Zarthun and Nukora uncovered long-buried secrets linking humanity's titans to a lost civilization, a race that had once wielded power over the cosmos, only to be destroyed by envy and betrayal. "Their titans are echoes of that forgotten age," Nukora whispered. "Their vengeance is fueled by memories we dared to erase." Zarthun's eyes burned. "Then we will finish what was begun. Their rise must be stopped, or all will fall." As the war between Titans and the Conclave raged across the stars, humanity faced a choice: unity or division, survival or extinction, hope or despair. General Malik's voice echoed in the halls of Titan Command, a clarion call for the future. "We are the storm that they never saw coming." The galaxy held its breath, and the echoes of betrayal ignited the fury of a new age. The fragile balance shatters as Earth's titans launch a decisive assault against the Conclave's stronghold. Battles rage across orbit and within the alien capital, where ancient grudges ignite and new alliances form. Amid the chaos, humanity's inner fractures threaten to explode, forcing heroes to rise and sacrifices to be made. The war transcends mere survival. It becomes a reckoning for the soul of humanity and the fate of the galaxy itself. The cold void of space was alight with fury. No longer hidden beneath the shadows, the Titan fleet surged forward in a united wave of unrelenting force, their colossal forms dwarfing nearby stars with an overwhelming presence. The sheer scale of their advance seemed to challenge the cosmos itself. Titans awakened from eons of silence, wielding the wrath of a world that had been scorned for too long. Captain Elias Grant stood at the helm of the Aegis. The pulse of war resonating through the ship's core as a storm outside threatened to consume everything. The bridge was a symphony of tension. Officers barking orders, systems screaming under duress, and the deep, steady beat of the fleet's engines powering toward destiny. "Engage target vectors," Grant commanded, voice unwavering despite the chaos. "This ends here." Across the expanse, the celestial conclave's dreadnoughts converged, their collective power a wall of annihilation. Zarthun's massive ship, the Eclipse, led the charge, its energy weapons glowing with a deadly hunger. But the Titans would not be deterred. Their weapons, a blend of human ingenuity and ancient cosmic technology, unleashed a barrage that tore through the Conclave's front lines. Explosions bloomed like stars dying in agony, and the very fabric of space twisted under the immense forces unleashed. Lieutenant Arya Chen's squadron darted through the storm, weaving expertly between enemy fire. "We're breaking their formation," she reported. "Push harder." Beneath the surface of the Conclave's capital, the war erupted with equal ferocity. Hallways once reserved for politics and ceremony became battlefields. The ancient stones echoed with the clash of weapons and cries of the fallen. Human commandos, aided by the forgotten faction's advanced technologies, infiltrated the city, striking at the heart of alien power. General Kira Malik led one such squad, her voice steady. Amidst the chaos, "We take the core, no mercy." Explosions rocked the cavernous chambers as alien guards fell before Amid the carnage, Malik's mind raced. The war was more than just firepower. It was a test of will, of spirit. Elsewhere, Captain Jonas Creel grappled with his conscience and the consequences of his past choices. Haunted by betrayal and loss, he found himself face to face with Spectre once more, a shadowy figure whose motives were as murky as the void. "Your hesitation endangers us all," Spectre hissed. "The time for doubt is over." Creel's jaw clenched. "Then show me the path." The pair disappeared into the labyrinthine corridors, moving toward a secret that could turn the tide. In orbit, the battle reached a crescendo. The Eidolon, piloted by Captain Layla Sato, danced through the carnage with deadly precision. Her ship's adaptive stealth systems allowed her to slip behind enemy lines and unleash devastating quantum strikes. "Targeting enemy command," Sato reported. "Initiating coordinated assault." Explosions blossomed as the Conclave's control centers flickered and died, sowing confusion among their forces. But the Conclave was not without response. Zarthun unleashed a weapon of terrible power. The Starbreaker, a device capable of fracturing entire star systems. The Aegis shuddered as energy rippled through its hull. "Shields failing," a crew member cried. Grant's voice was a steel blade. "Divert everything to forward shields. Prepare to deploy the countermeasure." From the depths of the ship, engineers activated an experimental device, a fusion of human technology and relics scavenged from ancient ruins. The ship pulsed with energy, emitting a protective field that warped the fabric of space-time around them. The battle within the Conclave's capital grew desperate. Malik and her squad fought through a maze of corridors, dodging energy blasts. "And collapsing architecture, almost there," Malik muttered, pushing forward. At the core chamber, the team encountered a relic, a massive crystal pulsating with energy, the source of the Conclave's power. Destroying it meant crippling the alien coalition, but risked unleashing uncontrollable forces. Malik made her choice. "For humanity," she whispered, raising her weapon. The crystal shattered in a cascade of light and sound, the shockwave ripping through the city and into orbit. Conclave ships faltered, their systems destabilizing. The tide of war shifted, but victory came at a price. Creel's betrayal was uncovered, his collusion with alien sympathizers threatening to undo all. In a brutal confrontation, Malik confronted Creel. "Your choices nearly destroyed us," she said coldly. Creel, broken but resolute, responded, "I did what I thought was necessary to save us." Malik shook her head. "There is no salvation in betrayal." As the dust settled, new alliances formed. The Forgotten revealed themselves as unexpected allies, their knowledge crucial to humanity's survival. Silara, their enigmatic leader, approached Malik. "The galaxy's fate is intertwined with yours. Together, we can forge a new order." The stars watched silently as the Titans stood victorious, battered but unbroken. Humanity's roar echoed across the cosmos. The reckoning had begun. In the uneasy aftermath of the Titans' victory, humanity struggles to consolidate power amid lingering internal fractures and new external threats. The alliance with the enigmatic Forgotten faction ushers in revelations that challenge long-held beliefs about the galaxy's past and future. As the Celestial Conclave regroups, plotting ruthless vengeance, Earth's leaders must navigate treacherous politics and imminent war, while a darker, ancient force stirs beneath the stars, threatening all existence. The stars seem to hold their breath. In the vast silence that followed the shattered remnants of the Conclave's might, Earth's battered Titan fleet regrouped, a fractured but indomitable force humming with the promise of survival. Across command decks and battle stations, exhaustion mixed with determination, the sharp edges of victory tempered by the sobering cost. Captain Elias Grant stood on the Aegis bridge, his gaze fixed on the stars beyond. The void was calm, but beneath that stillness lurked the pulse of coming chaos. "We have beaten back their first wave," Grant said quietly, voice heavy with the weight of what had been lost and what was yet to come. "But this war is far from over." Lieutenant Arya Chen, ever vigilant, scanned incoming communications. New transmissions intercepted, not from the Conclave, something else, something older. Grant's brow furrowed. "Explain." Chen's voice dropped. "Encrypted signals, layered with patterns that defy known technology, something ancient. It's as if the galaxy itself is waking. Thousands of kilometers beneath Earth's surface, Titan Command buzzed with activity. War. Council chambers filled with the sharp voices of strategy and tension. General Kira Malik stood before a massive display, her figure framed by holographic projections of the battlefield, shifting alliances and political networks fractured by betrayal. "We have gained an unlikely ally in the Forgotten," Malik began, eyes steely. "Their knowledge is vast, but their motives remain shadowed." Marcus Havel leaned forward. "They've been exiled for centuries, embracing forbidden technology and knowledge the Conclave deemed heresy. Can we trust them?" Malik's gaze hardened. "We have no choice. The galaxy's balance is tipping. If we do not unite, extinction will be our only certainty." The Forgotten Faction's leader, Silara, appeared on the Council's hololink, her form shimmering with ethereal light. "The past we share is darker than you know," she intoned. "Our exile was a consequence of knowledge too dangerous for the Conclave. The Titans you wield are remnants of a civilization destroyed by cosmic forces we barely understand, forces now stirring once more." The room fell silent as the weight of her words sank in. Far beyond the reaches of known space, deep within a twisted nebula cloaked in shadow and light, a presence stirred, an ancient force of unfathomable power. Its name had been lost to time, but its intent was clear: to reclaim dominion over the stars and extinguish all who dared defy its will. In the dark, a whisper echoed across dimensions, a call that reached even Earth, stirring dread and resolve in equal measure. Back on Earth, tensions simmered within the Council as old wounds refused to heal. Captain Jonas Creel, still haunted by his past betrayal, sought redemption through relentless action, but suspicion followed him like a shadow. General Malik confronted him in the depths of Titan Command. "Your choices have consequences," she said, voice low but sharp. "You will prove your loyalty or be cast out." Creel nodded, jaw set. "I will not fail humanity again." Meanwhile, the Celestial Conclave was far from defeated. From the ruins of their shattered fleets, dark leaders rose, seeking vengeance and restoration of lost honor. Vrax, though wounded in pride and body, rallied the remnants of loyalist forces. "The Titans have struck first," he growled, "but they have not yet seen the true fury of the Conclave." Nkora's voice was cool and calculated. "We will strike where they are weakest. Divide and conquer." As the political and military chessboard shifted, clandestine meetings took place in shadowed corners of the galaxy. Silara and Malik forged fragile plans, weaving alliances with scattered factions disillusioned by the Conclave's tyranny. But trust was scarce, and betrayal lurked behind every word. In the midst of this fragile unity, a new revelation rocked Earth's defenses. Scientists monitoring deep space anomalies detected fluctuations, energy surges that defied explanation. Dr. Elena Ross studied the data, voice trembling with both fear and fascination. "These surges correlate with ancient cosmic phenomena linked to the destruction of the civilization that once built the Titans," she said. "If they are awakening, the war we fight is only the beginning." The galaxy seemed poised on a knife's edge, a balance of power shifting toward chaos. The Titans' arrival had shattered old orders and ignited long-dormant forces. On the bridge of the Aegis, Captain Grant stared out into the abyss. His mind racing. "We have a war on multiple fronts," he said. "Against the Conclave, against ancient forces, and against the fractures within ourselves." Lieutenant Chen's voice was firm. "We fight to the last breath, Captain, for Earth, for humanity." Grant nodded, the weight of command settling like armor. As the stars watched silently, a gathering storm swirled. The galaxy would soon learn that humanity was no longer the joke whispered among alien courts. They were the reckoning. As the galaxy braces for a new era of conflict, the fragile alliances between humanity and the forgotten are tested by betrayals and old grudges. A secret from the past threatens to unravel the very foundation of Earth's defiance. The celestial conclave strikes with cunning and brutality, forcing humanity's leaders to confront harsh truths and desperate choices. Amidst the chaos, heroes rise and sacrifices become inevitable. The war for the stars reaches a crucible of destiny. The silence of space was shattered by war drums beating from the depths of ancient stars. Across the war-torn expanse of the solar system, the Titan fleet prepared for another brutal engagement. The scars of past battles adorned their hulls like badges of survival, but beneath the stoic exteriors, crews whispered of doubts and fears. Captain Elias Grant stood in the dimly lit tactical chamber aboard the Aegis, the flicker of tactical holograms casting cold light on his weathered face. His eyes, once bright with hope, now bore the weight of endless struggle. "Reports from the outer fleets," Lieutenant Arya Chen said, voice taut. "The Conclave's loyalists have formed a new alliance with the Shadowborn, a rogue faction of assassins and saboteurs." Grant's jaw clenched. "They aim to dismantle us from within." In the subterranean halls of Titan Command, the War Council gathered amidst mounting tension. General Kira Malik faced a storm of accusations and mistrust. The alliance with the Forgotten was fraying under pressure, and whispers of betrayal grew. Louder. Marcus Havel's voice was grave. "Our unity is our strength, but if even one link breaks, the entire chain will fall." Silara, radiant yet inscrutable, addressed the council through the hollow-link. "The past is a shadow we cannot escape," she said softly. "Secrets buried in the ruins of a forgotten age threaten to consume us all." Malik nodded. "Then we must face those secrets before they destroy what we've fought so hard to build." Elsewhere, Captain Jonas Creel wrestled with his conscience and newfound purpose. Haunted by his past betrayals, he sought redemption by leading covert operations against the Conclave's insidious networks. His latest mission took him deep into the heart of a Conclave stronghold, a palace of shadows and whispers, where secrets older than the stars themselves were guarded. Within the alien halls, Creel uncovered a hidden chamber filled with relics and data cores. Among them, a holographic archive revealed the truth behind the Titan's creation, an ancient pact forged between humanity's ancestors and the primordial powers that once ruled the cosmos. The covenant had been shattered, its fragments scattered across time and space. Creel's heart pounded as he realized the war was not just for survival, but for the reclamation of a lost legacy. Meanwhile, the Celestial Conclave's warlord Zarthun plotted his next move. Enraged by the defiance of the Titans, he unleashed a series of devastating strikes against Earth's outer colonies, sowing destruction and despair. His voice echoed through his command deck, cold and merciless. "Let them taste the ruin their rebellion invites." Back on Earth, the revelation of the shattered covenant sent shockwaves through the leadership. General Malik convened a secret meeting with Captain Grant and Silara. "We stand at a crossroads," Malik said. "To win, we must reclaim the covenant's power, but doing so risks awakening forces beyond our control." Silara's eyes gleamed. "We have no choice." The future of humanity depends on it. The battlefields of space erupted once more as the Titan fleet engaged the Conclave's new armada. Plasma fire and quantum blasts tore through the void, ships dancing in a deadly ballet of destruction. Lieutenant Chen led daring assaults on supply lines, crippling enemy logistics. "Cut their lifeline," she commanded. Amid the chaos, the Eidolons slipped through enemy lines to deliver a critical strike against the Conclave's flagship, the Eclipse. Captain Layla Sato's voice was calm and precise. Targeting reactor cores. Firing. The explosion rocked the enemy fleet, throwing their formation into disarray, but victory was fleeting. The Shadowborn assassins infiltrated Titan Command's security systems, unleashing cyber attacks that crippled vital defenses. Systems flickered, alarms blared, and chaos threatened to unravel humanity's hard-won gains. General Malik's voice cut through the turmoil. "Contain the breach! We will not fall to shadows!" Captain Krylos, leading countermeasures, fought desperately to root out the saboteurs. As the war surged forward, sacrifices piled upon sacrifices. Heroes fell, betrayals cut deep, and hope flickered in the face of overwhelming darkness. Yet, amid the ruin, a spark remained. The covenant, broken but not forgotten, called to those who would answer. Humanity's reckoning was far from over. As the war escalates into a maelstrom of destruction and deception, humanity's unity is tested like never before. Betrayals cut through trusted ranks, and the enigmatic forgotten reveal secrets that shake the foundation of belief. The Celestial Conclave's relentless assault forces Earth's leaders into impossible choices, with battles raging across planets, space, and the very fabric of reality. The Titans face their darkest hour, but from the depths of shadow rises the unyielding fire of resistance. The void burned red. As the second wave of the Conclave's fleets descended upon Earth's solar system, plasma and quantum beams tore across. The starscape illuminating the darkness with deadly fury. Captain Elias Grant stood resolute on the battered bridge of the Aegis, his face etched with the scars of command and the relentless weight of war. The tactical holograms flickered with constant updates, ships falling, new enemy formations emerging, and the ever-shifting battlefield demanding every ounce of his focus. "Report on enemy reinforcements," Grant demanded, voice steady yet edged with urgency. Lieutenant Arya Chen's eyes scanned the flood of data. Multiple warships emerging from hyperspace near the asteroid belt. Reinforcements are larger and more heavily armed than previous waves. They're bringing everything they have. Grant's jaw tightened. Then we meet fire with fire. Meanwhile, deep within the labyrinthine tunnels of Titan Command, General Kira Malik faced a crisis of faith and leadership. The alliance with the Forgotten had yielded powerful knowledge, ancient relics and technologies that could turn the tide, but their true intentions remained veiled in mystery. Silara, radiant and inscrutable, stood before the council, unveiling artifacts pulsing with primordial energy. "This is the Aegis of the Ancients, a weapon forged in the dawn of the cosmos," she explained. "With it we can disrupt the Conclave's core systems and sever their command." Malik's eyes narrowed. "What price does this power demand?" Silara smiled, an enigmatic curve. "Power always demands sacrifice. The question is whether humanity is willing to pay." On the surface of Mars, a pivotal battleground, chaos reigned. Human ground forces clashed with Conclave troops in brutal urban warfare. Dust storms whipped through ruined cities, shrouding the streets in swirling grit and smoke. Captain Jonas Creel led a squadron through shattered buildings, his heart pounding with the weight of redemption and regret. "We hold this sector," Creel commanded. "No ground lost." But a sudden explosion rocked the city, a suicide bomber, a weapon of shadows unleashed by the Shadowborn assassins. Krylos' squad was thrown into disarray, casualties mounting as they fought desperately to regroup. Back. In orbit, the Eidolon executed a daring raid on the Conclave's supply lines, piloted with deadly precision by Captain Layla Sato. Her sleek vessel darted between enemy cruisers, unleashing quantum disruptors that crippled power systems and sowed confusion. Enemy convoys neutralized, Sato reported, voice calm amid the chaos, returning to base. However, the Conclave's retaliation was ruthless. Sarthun's forces deployed reality-warping weapons, devices capable of bending space-time, tearing holes in the fabric of existence. Space itself became a battlefield of fractured dimensions and shifting horizons. General Malik coordinated the response from Titan Command, her voice a beacon of resolve. "We adapt or perish," she declared. "Deploy countermeasures. Protect our fleet and ground forces." Engineers scrambled to recalibrate shields and reinforce damaged sectors, working through exhaustion and despair. Meanwhile, Captain Krylos uncovered a devastating truth. The Shadowborn had infiltrated deeper than anyone imagined, their agents embedded in command positions, sabotaging from within. He confronted a trusted officer, the revelation shattering fragile trust. "You betrayed us," Krylos said, voice low and hard. The officer's smile was cold. "In war, loyalty is currency. I chose survival." Betrayal rippled through Titan Command, sowing chaos at the worst possible moment. Malik moved swiftly, purging corrupt elements and reinforcing security. "We cannot afford division," she insisted. "Our enemies exploit every weakness." As the war raged, the forgotten secrets deepened. Silara revealed the Veil of Eternity, an ancient artifact capable of shielding entire worlds from detection. "If we can cloak Earth and our fleets," she explained, "we can strike where the Conclave least expects." Yet power came at a cost. The artifact's use drained life energy from its bearer, binding them to its fate. Silara's eyes flashed with determination and sorrow. "I will bear the burden," she vowed. Across the solar system, battles raged with unrelenting fury. The Titans fought not only for survival, but for the right to exist, their defiance echoing through the cosmos. Captain Grant's voice broke through the tumult. "We fight for Earth, for every soul who ever dreamed of freedom," Lieutenant Chen nodded. "Then let's make them remember why humanity cannot be broken." The stars watched as fire and shadow collided. The fate of galaxies balanced on a razor's edge. The war's fury exposes deep wounds from humanity's forgotten history. As the Titans and their allies push the Conclave back, long-buried secrets threaten to tear Earth's fragile coalition apart. Betrayals come to light, and heroes face impossible sacrifices. In the shadow of cosmic ruins, humanity must confront not only its enemies, but also the ghosts of its own making. For only by facing the past can they hope to claim the stars' future. The solar winds whispered cold through the shattered remnants of the once great asteroid belt, now a graveyard for lost dreams and broken fleets. The Titans' battered vessels hovered silently among the floating debris, their crews mourning the heavy toll paid for every inch of contested space. Captain Elias Grant stood alone on the observation deck of the Aegis, staring out into the vast abyss where countless ships had been lost. His reflection stared back, hardened, tired, yet unbroken. The war had aged him, but his resolve burned brighter than ever. Behind him, footsteps echoed. Lieutenant Arya Chen approached quietly, her voice soft but steady. "Captain, the latest intel is troubling. The Conclave's remnants have uncovered a hidden archive on one of their lost colonies, something tied to humanity's ancient origins." Grant's eyes narrowed. "What have we been missing?" Chen looked down at the datapad in her hands. "Secrets that could rewrite everything we know about our place in the galaxy." Deep beneath the crust of a forgotten planet, a secret chamber lay undisturbed for millennia. Its walls pulsed faintly with arcane energy, remnants of a civilization erased by time and conflict. General Kira Malik and Silara led a small team into the chamber, their footsteps stirring ancient dust and echoes of the past. "This is the Art of the Covenant," Silara whispered, reverence thick in her voice. "Here lies the truth of our origins, and the key to our survival." Malik's gaze swept the vast hall, where glyphs and symbols danced in glowing relief. "What happened here?" she asked. "The fall," Silara replied. "A cataclysm. Born of pride, betrayal, and cosmic fury, our ancestors destroyed themselves in their hunger for power. On Earth, whispers of dissent spread like wildfire. Captain Jonas Kriel's actions and investigations revealed fractures not only within Titan Command, but throughout Earth's governments. Corruption, fear, and desperation fueled secret deals, with alien factions threatening to unravel the fragile unity that held humanity together. Malik confronted Kriel in the War Council chamber. "The past cannot dictate our future," she warned, "but if we do not face it, it will destroy us." Kriel's face was lined with regret. "I want to believe in us, but trust is harder to rebuild than warships." In the void, the Conclave's final gambit unfolded. Zarthun unleashed the Oblivion Lance, a weapon capable of unraveling star systems and shattering reality. The Titans braced as a titanic beam of energy carved through space, threatening to consume Earth itself. "Captain," Grant's voice was unwavering, "prepare the fleet. We face the end and rise from it." The Aegis led the desperate defense, its weapons blazing in a symphony of destruction and hope. Lieutenant Chen commanded fighter wings in a deadly dance, weaving through the Oblivion Lance's destructive wake. Amid the chaos, Silara activated the Veil of Eternity, cloaking Earth and its fleet in a shroud of invisibility. The Conclave's sensors faltered, buying precious moments for humanity to regroup and strike. But power demanded sacrifice. The Veil's toll on Silara was immediate and severe. Her light dimmed, her form flickering like a dying star. Malik held her hand, voice thick with emotion. "You carry us all on your shoulders." Silara smiled faintly. "The future demands nothing less." As the veil held, the Titans launched a daring counterattack. Quantum torpedoes and plasma storms tore through the Conclave's lines, breaking their hold on the solar system. Yet the war's end was far from certain. Beneath the surface, secrets festered, betrayals deepened, and the ghosts of humanity's past threatened to consume its future. Captain Grant stood once more on the observation deck, eyes fixed on the horizon of stars. "We are no longer the galaxy's forgotten," he said softly. "We are its reckoning." The final chapter culminates in a cataclysmic confrontation that will decide humanity's fate and reshape the galaxy's power balance forever. Old wounds heal as allies unite, betrayals are confronted, and sacrifices redefine heroism. The Titans rise from the ashes of war not just as warriors, but as legends. In a breathtaking finale of strategy, valor, and cosmic forces, humanity claims its place among the stars, forever altering the course of history. The cosmos roared with anticipation, a storm of light and shadow spiraling through the void as the final battle drew near. Captain Elias Grant stood resolute on the bridge of the Aegis, the colossal warship that had become both symbol and sword of humanity's desperate fight. Around him, every member of the crew moved with fierce purpose, knowing that today would determine not just their survival, but the future of all humankind. "Status report," Grant demanded, voice low but steely. Lieutenant Arya Chen's fingers danced across the console, eyes blazing with determination. "Fleet is at full combat readiness. The Forgotten have deployed their advanced stealth squadrons to flank the Conclave's rear. Earth's defenses are holding firm. Grant's gaze swept the stars ahead, where the last vestiges of the celestial conclave's armada gathered, a monstrous force clinging to fading power and bitter pride. Deep within the sanctum of Titan Command, General Kira Malik prepared the War Council for the climactic assault. "This is our moment," Malik said, voice carrying the weight of hope and sacrifice. "The galaxy has mocked us, betrayed us, and sought to erase us, but today we rise." Solara, weakened but undeterred, stepped forward. Her ethereal glow flickered but did not fade. "The veil of eternity remains in place, shielding us from detection, but its power wanes. The cost has been high." Malik met her gaze. "Your sacrifice has given us a chance. We will honor it." On the shattered surface of Mars, ground forces braced for the final push. Captain Jonas Creel led his squad through the ruins, every step heavy with memory and resolve. "We fight for every life lost," Creel said, voice steady. "For every dream shattered, for every future yet to come." Explosions echoed as the battlefield became a crucible of fire and steel. In orbit, the Eidolon danced through the chaos, Captain Layla Sato commanding with lethal grace. "Targeting the Eclipse's power cores," Sato reported. "Firing quantum disruptors." The Eclipse shook violently as the strikes hit home, its systems faltering. Zarthun's fury boiled. "They will pay for this insolence." The final battle unfolded with relentless ferocity. The Aegis and its sister Titans unleashed torrents of plasma and quantum energy, carving swaths through the Conclave's lines. Fighter squadrons engaged in deadly dogfights, weaving through flashes of light and death. Inside Titan Command, betrayal was confronted. Captain Creel faced the remnants of the Shadowborn infiltrators. "In a fierce showdown, you sought to destroy us from within," Malik said, standing beside Creel, "but we are stronger than your shadows." The infiltrators fell one by one, their threat extinguished. As the battle raged, the ancient power of the Titans surged. The remnants of the shattered covenant awakened, their cosmic energy flowing through humanity's vessels like wildfire. "Captain." Grant stood on the Aegis's observation deck as the Eclipse loomed in the distance. "Its once mighty form, now crippled." "We end this," Grant said softly. The Aegis fired a final barrage, a symphony of destruction and hope that shattered the Eclipse and scattered the Conclave's remaining forces. The war was won. But the cost was written in the stars. Lives lost, worlds scarred, futures forever changed. On Earth, General Malik addressed a weary but victorious council. "We have claimed our place among the stars," she said, voice ringing with triumph and humility. "But the galaxy remains vast, and new challenges await." Silara, her light dim but steady, smiled. "The covenant endures. So does hope." Captain Grant looked to the heavens, the stars no longer distant and cold, but a canvas of possibility. "We are Titans now," he said, "born from ashes, rising to claim our destiny."